Okay, so what I'm going to demonstrate now is how to render a wall or apply a floating coat. This is going to be for level 1 students. It's the first bit. I'm going to do the 2 screens and then fill in the middle bit here. Okay. So the first thing you've got to look for is you've got your 4 dots on. Okay, doing 2 pairs. What we're looking for is, first of all, is put the straight edge on there, and we're looking for the thickness here. So that's the distance from the edge of the straight edge onto your scratch coat or the brickwork blockwork wall, and that's going to be the thickness of your screen. So it's important to begin with to see what the thickness is like. So when you put it on your render, you approximately know how much you're going to be putting on. Okay, so first of all, we'll put this one first. It doesn't matter which one you put on first, it's whatever you feel is best. We're going to put a band of mortar from the top dot, okay, to the second to the bottom dot at the bottom. Okay, and yours starts at the top. Okay, it's on there. So the first one you're putting on, okay, and just lightly, just take your trowel over your dot. So try not to dislodge that dot. Obviously, because then it will be loose, but just try and glide the trowel with your render on just over the dot. What you're going to try and do is not take the trowel so far, because you're putting on approximately about 10mm, which is the thickness of your render coat. So just don't take it too far. Alright, so then the render then is not too thin. Okay? So you're working your way down to the bottom dot. Alright, so just make sure you've got enough on. What we're going to do now is roll off. So we've got here is a feather edge, okay, so it's got a thick edge and a thin edge. I've previously wet this, so we need to wet them. And I'm going to run the point of the feather edge over the dots, okay, up and down, sliding it across. So we'll start on one edge here, okay, on the edge of each dot, and then up and down, bringing it across. It doesn't stick to the render because you've wet it. Don't worry if any of it falls off. Okay, or you need to put it back on. So what we do now, we're looking at your screed. Okay, you can see at the top of the bottom there, see the lines that the ruler's made. A little bit in between there where there's no line, so the ruler hasn't touched that area. So you need to put a bit more render in that area there to bring it out a bit more to make it in line with the rest of your screen, and a little bit down the bottom there as well. So we repeat that process, alright, with the rule, up and down, moving across the edge of that dot there, and now we've got lines. And always clean your rule, put it back on your spot board, okay? Don't splash it on the floor. You can see now you've got lines all the way up, so what we do down the edges here, where there's a little bit more pronounced, we just push those into the wall, okay, which leaves you the flat surface of your screen, okay? And that's all there is to it. You can check it again if you want, just to make sure that you're in. Okay, if you can hear the noise of the wood scraping or the metal scraping on the wood, once you get that noise, you know you're on the dots. Okay. So once you've got that one done, alright, then it's straight on to the next one. Exactly the same process. Okay, so again, start at the top. Okay. And then just work your way down. Don't take the trowel width too far, so you're building the thickness out a lot quicker. Do your screeds. And just keep yourself working down to the bottom dot, like that. And then again with your trowel, with your straight edge, sorry, on the top dot and bottom dot, line it up and down, all the way across. As you can see now, there's quite a bit there. This side must be a little bit thicker. Alright, so we've got quite a bit there to put back on to build out the thickness. Okay, so again, start at the top. Working your way down. Okay. And then roll it off again. bit on there, quite a bit of render on the wall there, just put it back onto the spot board again, try to keep it off the floor. As you can see now, we've got two screens. We're going to screen flatten out to the side here because it's quite a bit in front. Okay. There's your two screens, okay? It's important we get the two screens nice and plumb because this is going to form the face of the wall. And once you get this level on your two dots and get your screens formed, okay, that's the thickness and the level of your wall. So you shouldn't be putting any more render on top of these screens. Okay, no more layers. All right, once you fill the middle in, you might get a little bit on the side here, which you rule off anyway. So this is what we're going to do now. Okay, now these screens are quite wet, so you have to be really careful when you put your next coat on. Usually students like to wait a little bit, so maybe if we go for dinner or break and then they'll firm up a little bit. Okay, but the process is we're going to fill the middle in here. Okay, so again, starting, because I'm left-handed, start right hand side, working this way, right-handed will go the opposite way. Okay, again, starting at the top. Okay, and then when you come to the screen here, you just gently overlap with your trowel, so you're not putting on a lot of pressure. Okay. Again, you're not taking the trowel very far, building up the thickness very quicker as you're travelling. The trowel is putting on thicker and more thicker because it's not travelling further on the wall. Okay, now the spot wall is full, so I'm going to put a bit more on here, with the barrow here. Okay, and we go again. I'm going to put it on down to the bottom here. Okay, you may feel when you're doing it, you may want to go to halfway and then rule it off. Okay. Question, just trying to gauge the thickness with your trowel. So you're just trying to put your render on so it's just slightly above your screeds, which will make it a lot easier when you're ruling off. I think the idea would be then you're ruling off down to your screeds instead of rolling the rule over your screeds, taking off your screen, and keep it the same level. Okay, so that's all on. Alright, so we start at the bottom, okay, on your two dots here, and then gently watching both screeds as you pull up your rule. Okay, making sure that taking that off, okay. Again, back on your spot boards, we don't want it on the floor because it means, you know, if you put loads on the floor, it means that you've got more tidying up to do. Okay, and you're concentrating, okay, getting it back down to your screen on both sides. You can tell where the rule is just slightly going over each screen, and then you just start to see it just dragging a little bit, okay? Okay, about there now. So once you think you're at the right level, what you do is you check it across. Top, middle and bottom, alright. And just to make sure you haven't dug into your screeds, and then just go off your dots again, just making sure that there's no gaps there that you've created by ruling up the wall. Okay, line that up. this, you extend these screeds up to the ceiling and down to the floor, all right, and then fill in the top bit and the bottom bit, and then the two side bits. But this is a bit wet at the moment, so I want to leave that to steady up a bit, okay, and hopefully later on in the day I'll give that a bit of a double flame.